Once you were old enough, what dark family secrets were you finally letting on? My grandparents ran a boys' home in the 60s and 70s, for kids with unsafe living situations, abusive families, juvenile criminal records, etc. It was well run and they provided the kids with a good life. My mom was an only child and grew up living around them. When I was small and asked her about it, she would say that for the more significant part, she loved growing up around them because it was like having friends all the time. In the pictures of her from that time, she looks like a little boy herself. She refused to wear girls' clothes and had a boy's haircut. But in all of these photos of her, throughout her childhood and adolescence, there is a strange sad energy in her face that I couldn't put my finger on even though she is smiling. I could just feel it when I saw those pictures. I didn't understand how she would describe these times as so fun and happy, but when my grandma would say she had heard from one of the boys around Christmas, Easter, or birthdays, my mom would go quiet and look close to tears, and maybe stay this way for a day or so. My mom was an extremely overprotective mother when I was a teen. At 14 I wasn't allowed to shave my legs, pluck my eyebrows, or wear anything that wasn't a learner bra. Nothing terrible, but it felt like I was being kept as a child. At 15 I rebelled a bit and my mom clamped down even harder. She would repeatedly emphasize that boys were not to be trusted. They only want one thing: girls that give off certain messages to them will come a cropper. The horrible twist is that I was assaulted by men on 2 separate occasions in my teens, and when I told her, she basically said to me, "I told you so." I went through therapy a bit later, and managed to process that these things weren't my fault and that my mother's logic had made things worse. I confronted her with this: those events were not my fault. It was nobody's fault but the perpetrator. I did not do anything that invited assault. She really could not accept this. It had to be my fault in some way. When I went to the police to make a historical report, she was extremely awkward and unsupportive. My dad stepped in to help me during this time. 2 years later, during an argument, my mom tells me that she was molested, groomed, and assaulted from the age of 6 by 2 separate boys in their early adolescence who were living at the home. She didn't realize anything about this was wrong until her father saw something happening to her, blamed her, implied she caused it to happen, told her mother, and said it must not happen again. My mom was 8. Nothing happened to the boys, who had likely been sexually abused themselves. The home carried on working for years and no one said anything more about it.